All right, can you guys see my screen? Cool. Let's kick this puppy off. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining the Team Ignited call. As of tonight, this will be every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I appreciate you guys kicking it off with us. Just a few quick announcements before we dive into our guest speaker. Since we had our last team call, I just wanted to have a big shout out to these amazing ladies, Brandy, Adele, and Emily, who have all been promoted to Emerald since the last time that we met together as a team. And that's when you really unlock the potential and the earning potential of this business, because you can start making money without having to actually sell to customers yourself. You're really benefiting from the team around you, and those three have done that. And as of this afternoon, we have one more promotion coming our way. Rebecca Schmidt will be Emerald as of Thursday. So I can't put it on yet, but we'll celebrate her on Thursday when it's official. But as of this afternoon, Rebecca has met all of the requirements to be Emerald on Thursday. So congratulations, Rebecca. And then finally, we have a Coach of the Week, and that is Kate Dunn. Kate Dunn just sold a challenge pack today to one of her friends, and she launched her free community this week, which is exciting. One of the things that I think is really cool with Kate is that she's really embracing that take messy action, that you might not know everything, but just dive in, just start, just talk to your friends, have the community. Start taking action, because none of us know what we're doing when we first start. One of the best things I ever learned is that there is no degree, there's no 4-year degree in network marketing. We're all just go. And Kate's an awesome example of that. She's been kicking butt, and I can see it starting to happen, where there is the engagement happening in her free community, the challenge pack rolling in today, and she is just gonna be killing it this summer. I know it. So congratulations to Kate, our Coach of the Week. And then, as you guys know from the Coach Office, from National Wake Up Call, we have a ton going on in May, but just wanted to run through a few to make sure we're all on all of your radars. One, the $20 off challenge packs and completion packs continues through May. That is a killer deal. You will not find bundles for cheaper than that. One tip is that if you have an existing Beachbody member who buys Shakeology occasionally or might be interested in it, now is a really good time to approach them and tell them, hey, if you were thinking about Shakeology anytime soon, there's a promotion going on where we bundle it. And if you get them the 10 rounds completion pack, which US is $130, that's the same price as a retail bag of Shakeology, except they'll also get VIP access to 10 rounds, as well as a set of resistance loops. So they get a ton of freebies, all for the same price of a bag of Shakeology. So I sold a couple of those in the last week just by letting them know of, hey, this is out there. You can get some freebies if you want it. The Mother's Day sale on collagen started today, so that's 10% off and free shipping. That's this week only. Tomorrow, there's the Business of Coaching event. That is on Team Beachbody 411 Facebook page that will be streaming live. They'll make that available after as well. I highly recommend these, even if you've been around for a while or don't think you have a prospect, because the way that they describe coaching can be a really, really good reminder of the basics and can help you inform how you explain coaching to other people. Plus, there's usually some really good tips or stats in there as well. So I definitely recommend checking that out. If you can't do it live tomorrow afternoon, then just catch the recording. I'm sure it'll be in the Coach Office, and then it will be on the Team Beachbody 411 Facebook page as well. And the last thing I know we've all been waiting for, the mixed berry, the new energized flavor, will be launching later this month for the US and Canada. And that is it for these announcements. And we are going to dive in to our guest speaker. Expand my, okay. So we have Corey on the line. Most of you know Corey, I think, already. So Corey had signed up as a coach back in 2014 or 2015, I think, right?
Forever ago, yeah.
But she didn't start coaching. She would order Shakeology and things like that, but she didn't start coaching till right around New Year. When she started coaching, she hit diamond 1 month later, and today she's only one coach away from 1-star diamond qualifying. And she and her business partners had more than 50 Success Club points in April. And she has more than 1,100 members of her free community. So that Facebook community is clearly one of the secrets to her success. Like
the only one, the only secret.
Just because she only started coaching at the New Year doesn't mean she wasn't planting seeds for a really long time and putting a lot of work into building trust with a big database of people. I just looked at Prep Obsessed at your Facebook community. You are so close to a huge milestone of 20,000 fans or 20,000 members in there, which I assume you know, you're probably watching.
No, I don't know. But that's good.
We're on the cusp. So I asked Corey if she could talk to us a little bit. I know a few of you have started your free communities or are thinking about starting one. I think they're an awesome way to build your confidence as a coach and to kind of practice in there, but also to start getting people involved in your network. And Corey's had such killer success with it that I asked her if she could hop on and talk with us about what she does and how she approaches it.
Sure. So I want to give you guys a little bit of background. So if you're not familiar with me or my real business, so I own a retail store with my best friend. We launched it in 2013 as an answer to a hole we saw in the marketplace. So we cater to like a preppy female audience, and we were looking to become like the all-in-one place for gifts, accessories, home items, because we were finding that we were shopping here for one thing, here for another thing, and we couldn't find everything in one place. So that's what we sought to do. So like we started by trying to answer a community need. And this was back before Facebook just ruined everything for businesses. So you guys are dealing with a very different Facebook environment than what we were dealing with in 2013. Like in 2013, if I knew what I knew now, I'd be like a millionaire overnight, because it was amazing. Like you could just post things and everybody who followed your page would see it. Like that doesn't happen now, obviously. So we've been in business for 7 years. We have a very dedicated fan base. So if you look at our main Facebook page, which used to be the hub of our business back in 2013, we have over 400,000 fans on Facebook. If I post something on there right now, maybe 2,000 people will see it, which has got to be like the most depressing thing in the whole world, right? Like all of those 400,000 people said, I want to see your stuff. And Facebook was like, no. So we ended up making the group because the group was a much easier way to reach your people. So while a group post doesn't necessarily reach your whole audience, it reaches a much higher percentage of your audience than a post to a page does. So that's why we started our customer group, which I think Kate said is about to hit 20,000. So you can see that that's super depressing, 400,000 down to 20,000. Still a good audience though, of course. And those are like your super engaged people. So when we started thinking about if we wanted to go into this, it seemed like it would be a good fit because it was something that we had been using. You know, we used the products. We really felt at the beginning of the year, we wanted to make that lifestyle change. We were super burnt out after Christmas, as most retailers are. And we were coming from a very authentic place of, we poured into everyone else's cup last year and we've got nothing left in the tank. And we don't want to do that again this year. So I called Caroline, I think it was like December 29th, as one does. And I was like, hey, do you think we could do this? And she was like, holy crap, yes, let's do this. So we launched our community and just like Kate was saying, we were scrappy. I haven't been in any of your groups. I've never been in a Beachbody group. I didn't know what to do. So I was just doing it based on what I would want if I was in a community. So we launched it as a completely open, caring, supportive community. We are female only, and it is entirely our customers with very few exceptions at this point. And we launched it saying, you know what, we're doing this. We're going to be doing BOD and drinking our Shakeology and following this stuff. But if you want to ride your Peloton, and if you want to go to, you know, do your workout of the day at CrossFit and post scary pictures, you should do that. So it was super inclusive and coming from a very honest and supportive place. So when we first launched, we got some feedback from people who were like, isn't this MLM? And we were like, hi, Karen, welcome. Yes, we are doing this, but you're certainly welcome to do whatever it is you want, and we're here to support you. And we found that shut that conversation down right away. And that was totally our biggest fear. We were really worried that our customer would look at this as like, ooh, I can't believe they're doing that. But by having the open community and welcoming everybody, regardless of if they wanted to participate with us or not, we felt like we kind of shut that down really early, and we haven't really had a problem with it since. That was really a long-winded answer, but that's kind of how we got to where we are. So the group, I think, just reached over 1,000 people today or this week. So we're at like 1,100 in our fitness group. A lot of them are doing BOD. A lot of them are like coming on board very slowly. And we kind of take a very like soft pitch approach, which I think.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
How are you, when you, so, I mean, that's still really, I know you're talking about 400,000 people on a page, 20,000 people in a group. Having 1,100 people in your Facebook community is incredible.
Yeah.
Period. And then the fact that you've only done that in a few months is also incredible. So will you tell us a little bit more about how you've promoted the group?
Sure. Yeah.
How often and how do you describe it?
Right. So I understand that we're human. 7 years. That many people. It really first selling are never pushy. It's kind of like, here's what we have. We really like it. We hope you like it too. Out there, we're not doing it again this year. If you're feeling the same way and you want to join us, welcome. And we posted the link to the group. And I would say, I don't know if Caroline remembers, but the first day we had probably 300 or 400 people join. But of course, some people join and then they see what it's about and then they're like, not for me. So it's been a very slow build after that initial few. So I think that's probably what you guys experience too. Like you start something and all of your friends and your cheerleaders and your people who are on board with whatever you do are going to be like, I'm here for you. And then after that initial wave, you're like, very small incremental steps. And that's kind of where we are right now. So we tend to promote a few times a month to our group or bump the post up to just be like, hey, this exists. If you're interested, come on down. But again, it's a very soft pitch. Group in the moment might not be that. And instead of being stringent with a super strict calendar, I kind of go with the feeling of the group. So if the group is all feeling like super burnt out, like I think a lot of us are experiencing right now, then I'm going to cater my post to being like, hey, who needs extra support today? Or how are you guys doing? More open-ended, asking for them to participate than saying, here's a great taco recipe. So I think content calendars are super good in getting inspiration, but I definitely think you should take cues from your group. And then another question that you guys asked was about the ratio of posts. This is super important. And if you take nothing else away from my babbling on tonight, I hope it's this. It's that your number one job in this is to be an advisor and like an entertainer and a trusted person in these people's lives. The reason that we have been successful in this is because I've spent 7 years teaching these women that I only will find the best things for them. I will find the best products. I will get the best brands, and I will stand behind everything we do. So with Prep Obsessed, if something breaks, if it gets lost in the mail, these customers have 7 years of knowing that I'm going to stand behind that. So when we started, it was a quick, Corey says this works, I'm going to give it a shot because I trust her. She's a trusted advisor in my life. When you're just starting and you don't have that 7 years, I think it's even more important to keep your ratio of posts at least 80% non-promotional. And I know that seems like a really high number, but like entertainment, engagement, information, that if you're supportive and if you're informative, when you do that 20% and you make that pitch, it comes in like so much easier than if you have that flipped and you're 80% promotional, 20% here's my Taco Tuesday recipe. You're not going to find it as effective, I don't think. So I think that's like super key. And we do a lot of different things for engagement. We do like the daily check-ins, which I think probably a lot of you guys do in your communities. We do like an ask and give. So like if you're having a hard time with something, you can post in the comments and somebody else can comment back with kind of how they're feeling or any advice that they may have. We don't do as much, like I know the Zoom workouts and things like that, we're just starting to introduce it. Our group is a little bit like, we're not sure. But it's kind of just all about experimenting and giving the ladies an outlet where they can show up, if that makes sense. I don't know if Kate's audio is back.
Yeah, sorry.
Yay! That was a lot of talking.
I dialed in from my phone just in case. So I know Lauren had asked the question about the two-way relationship. I see now when I hop into your group that you have a lot of people who are contributing too, which also helps with that ratio.
Yes.
That other people are contributing to a conversation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's not just you speaking from a megaphone.
Right.
Was it always like that?
I think our customers and therefore like our community is generally an outgoing person. Like our customers love to entertain. They like to throw parties. They will, you know, they're that type of people. We always kind of classify them as like the aged out sorority girl or like the country clubber. Like that's kind of who they are as like a social group. So it makes sense for them to be kind of gregarious and friendly in a social group. So I think we're at an advantage there because generally they're friendship makers. They like to talk and interact and engage. So that's helpful. But the other thing is, I mean, again, we have this history. So that is a build over time. I think on our first day, they were like, I'm not sure I'm going to participate. I don't know if I'm going to check in, things like that. But once you, again, show up day after day, I think it's really helpful to have some plants in your group, of course, you know, to kind of encourage that conversation and to show them that it's a safe space to do so. It's just that reinforcing over time that like, yes, you can participate. Someone is going to see you and write back. And I think that validation is so important, especially when people are on these journeys.
Well, and you said something there too about just, you know, your audience so well. So you know what they're going to engage with. And I think that's true for every coach here of your audience is going to be a little bit different than mine, a little bit different than Corey's. And that's the beauty of it. It should be different. You should really zero in on who you're trying to serve and know, do they want to talk to each other? Because it's very possible that the people you're working with just aren't super social people that want to chat. And if so, figure out, how do we create some sort of accountability or community that works for her or for him or them or however your group is set up. But I think that's really key. I think the second part that's really helpful is having the plant. I know I did that because I had an iteration of a Facebook community before the Spark, and it was called One Step Closer. And I would have plants in there. I know Caroline is always the best about like popping in and posting for you. I would invite other coaches in, almost like a team call type invite, where when I was very first starting, I would ask other brand new coaches of, hey, will you come in and do a video or even a photo post and just share your best tip or your best recipe or share something like a guest post.
Yeah.
Just, I think there are different ways that you can kind of get to know your audience and kind of not fake the engagement before it comes, but kind of encourage it and nudge it along in different ways.
I do think it makes people feel safer in doing it themselves. When they see a few other people have done it, it just allows them to take that step.
Yeah, for sure. I know one of the things Kate Dunn was really interested about is, even, I think it's in the bio of your group, you even have, so you have the soft sell. People come in knowing I don't have to be doing Beachbody to be part of this group, but you do still have, I think in the bio, the list of links to.
Yes, and no one ever uses that. But it's there, and I hope that someday someone will just click it and make a purchase, and it will be the best day ever. But I think it might have happened once so far. But yeah, definitely. So that's a good observation. Right in the bio, we say, do whatever you want. I think we even mention other workouts. We talk about Orange Theory, Peloton. Like, I'm not going to pretend these things don't exist. They're great. I have a bike in my garage. Like, and I think that, and it's like what Caroline said last week. I don't know if you guys were there for that, but she said something like, the owner of Spanx, Sarah Blakely, doesn't just wear Spanx. So me as a Beachbody coach, I don't just do Beachbody. I have a bike. I do Peloton workouts. I think their app is freaking fantastic. So I think to pretend that nothing else is there, or to not allow conversation about other things, it just doesn't feel right to me. And I think that Beachbody can be part of somebody's larger routine. And we see that a lot with our group. Like, a lot of our girls are like hardcore whatever at their local studios. And because of this, they can't do that anymore. So we've been a really great solution. But because they have been in our group this whole time, that's why they made that easy slide into BOD. If I had said, oh no, I'm sorry, you do bar at your local place, so that's not what this group is about, they wouldn't have purchased that challenge pack this month because of the situation we're in, So I think it's just all about, again, that authenticity of, this is real life. Some people do this, some people do that. If you want to do what we do, we're here for you.
I love that attitude. I think it also comes from a place of confidence. When I first started, the people who were doing other programs or doing workouts that weren't Beachbody were almost scary or intimidating to me.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh my God, what if people decide to do what they do instead of Beachbody on Demand?
Right.
And I think if you come from a place of confidence and not a place of lack, but a place of realizing that Beachbody can enhance what somebody already does, that you're going to be much better off. Adele has seen a lot of success with that, of playing into working with people who are already active, and just one more way to make it really easy or offer some variety in their life.
Well, and that's the cool thing about BOD is, compared to all of these other things, BOD is so affordable. So if you're talking to someone who has a Peloton, layering in BOD, that's like the smallest expense in the world. They're paying $50 a month for a subscription to a $3,000 bicycle. Like, they can handle the BOD. So I think that thinking about it, again, from like a place of abundance instead of a place of scarcity, definitely would be a good mindset.
So I'm sorry if I missed this part when my audio broke out, but how often are you posting in your group, in that big free group, and how much time do you think you spend in there throughout the week?
So this was easier to measure like pre-pandemic, because I always did it before the workday started. I'm not an early riser. I've tried to follow Lisa's principles. It doesn't work for me. I've got 2 kids, and what I would do is, when I dropped them off at school and like when I got to my desk in the morning, that would be like my Beachbody time before the workday actually started. We have team meeting late at Prep Obsessed, 9:45. So I had that window of like that hour and a half, and that was kind of like my designated morning time. And then I would kind of check in the evening. Because I'm an entrepreneur, I basically work every waking hour. But that was kind of like my designated slot of time. Now that I'm home, things are super messy. So it's a little bit harder to classify, but I would say at least an hour a day is what I'm spending like in that community and like having those conversations, but probably more right now.
So this leads me then to the question that Adele had asked in the comments too about how do you
That was
find a work-life balance? I think it's hard with
that
Facebook.
was a great question.
It
And
turn it off, and when you have an active group, there's a tendency to want to jump in and respond to people right away. But
yeah,
at some point, you need to draw the line and also have a really good work-life balance so that it's something that's sustainable. So how do you approach that?
if you want to talk to somebody about work-life balance, I am probably not the best person. Because we own a retail business, and we ship like 500 orders a day. Like, it's not a small retail business at this point. We work all the time. Like, I turn my computer off probably at 11 o'clock at night, and I open it up when I'm still in bed in the morning. So I am not a good example of having a good work-life balance, but I am a good example of being very fulfilled. And I am. And I know that a lot of people would look at my life and say, I don't want to do what she does. Like, I couldn't do that. I don't want to do that. I've had my friends say that to me, and it's actually a terrible feeling. I distinctly can remember like the exact place I was, probably the outfit I was wearing, when my first person said to me, I would never do that, like with disdain. It's the worst. But you have to remember that you're not asking anybody else to do it. You're living this life. And if this is fulfilling to you, then you should do it. And you don't need to do it like I do it. You don't need to go 100% at all times. I actually think it's probably healthier if you don't, but that's what works for me. And I've stopped letting other people's opinions of me dictate my actions. For a long time, it really sucked when my friends were like, ugh, like, you never take a day off. You don't do this, you don't do that. I don't. But what matters to me is growing my primary business so that it can live on for generations, and growing this business. So like, my primary goal with this is to pay my kids' school tuition. And if I can grow this business to a sustainable point where I'm not thinking, should I put them in public school next year? It doesn't have to be a hard choice for me. I want it to be, I've built this, and now I don't have to make that choice. So I think in life, we all have to make those choices, right? Like, what's your trade-off? What are you doing it for? And if the trade-off for me is not watching TV at night because I'm working, and I get the benefits of keeping my kids in the school I want them to be in, or growing my business to live on, hopefully long after I retire, then that's worth it.
Something you're saying is actually reminding me of an episode, I think it was your virtual upline, that I was listening to the other day, where he was talking about how we oftentimes look at successful people and write them off and say they would never want to coach because they're already so busy, or they already run a successful company. So when you were already so busy and already having a successful company, what made you want to layer in the Beachbody coaching piece?
I think, I love a challenge. Like, this to me was like something I had never done before. Caroline will tell you, I'm like super motivated by like, can you do this before 7 o'clock? I'm like, you bet your ass I'll do it before 7 o'clock. I'm going to do it twice. Cause like, that's what motivates me. Like, I love having a goal. At Prep Obsessed, we always have like a monthly goal that then Nina, my business partner, always gets so angry at me because we have a big monthly goal. I break that down into like an hourly goal because like, that's how my brain works. Like, I need to be like, check, check, check. I achieved it. I achieved it. I achieved it. So if you're looking for achievers on your team, if that's like the type of team you want to grow, I think that reaching out to people who do have established businesses is a great place to start. I don't see a lot of other boutique owners doing this. I've seen some do like LipSense and things along the way, but I also don't think many boutiques kind of take our community approach to selling in general.
So one other thing that I didn't think of until you were talking tonight, so I didn't prep this, but so you've built this community where people trust you and you talk about different options for health and fitness. They jump in, okay, but you're almost 1-star qualifying. So how have you taken those people, converted them to customers, but then now converted them to coaches?
Yeah, I think Kendra's here. She's one of our customers and now one of our coaches. I think because everything we do is from that authentic place, like I talked about at the beginning, that it doesn't have to be a weird thing. Like it's not like I'm selling a line or I'm somehow trying to like deceive people into buying something. I'm not. I'm completely upfront and honest about everything. It's funny, somebody the other day was like, well, I bought a challenge pack, so that my coach said that automatically makes me a coach. And I was like, oh, that's so shady. Like this coach is just signing everybody who buys a challenge pack up to be a coach. I would never ever do that, like I overly explain things. I make sure that everything's like super clear. And so then when customers become coaches and then want to work the business, it's kind of like that natural progression. And then I'm there for them the same way I've been there for them as a business owner and as a coach along the way, just like an authentic support.
How are you starting that conversation with them about enrolling as a coach?
So the majority of our ladies are discount coaches. We have 3 right now who are really working the business, one of which is my sister. So we're very excited that she's made that step. But the majority are doing it for the discount. So, I mean, I feel like you guys probably have the discount coach spiel down, but for me, I just say, hey, this is what you're spending on an average month. You can look back and say they bought Shakeology 3 months in a row. It makes more financial sense if you want to do that. It's no commitment. You can cancel at any time. And I make it super low pressure. Doesn't matter to me if you do it one way or the other. Just wanted to let you know that this is an option. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, thank you so much for letting me know. I would love to do that. So it doesn't have to be like have you considered being a coach? Like, and over explaining the coach aspect, because I think that word is super scary to a lot of my customers. But if you just focus on the discount benefit, you pay $15 a month. If you're a Shakeology customer, that works out to a nice discount is usually what I say. And then we have a pretty high conversion rate.
One other question that I always love asking people is about the personal development that you read or listen to.
Yeah.
What are you listening to now, and what's been your favorite so far?
So I'm a big audio person because like I have the kids and the businesses and don't ever stop moving. So books are like, I haven't read a book in like 8 years. I would love to someday, maybe on vacation or something. So I listen to a ton of podcasts. I like Rachel Hollis, of course. I know some people don't like her, but if you get past that like cringy exterior layer, I find her to be very good. Brendon Burchard is really great. Ed Mylett, I really love. So basically like that self-improvement podcast circuit, I'm all over. And I just generally like to surround like my feed and things like that. Like I don't follow, the top coach on Beachbody. I don't know who that is. I mean, I'm sure she's great, but like I don't follow those people. I follow people who like add value in the way, like I don't end up comparing myself. If I followed like the top 10 Beachbody coaches, I think I'd be like, oh, like look at her beautiful braid, or she's modeling next to her Hydrate. Like I don't want that. So I follow all these people who kind of push me to be a better person, as opposed to people who I'm going to ultimately compare myself to and then feel less than. So podcasts.
I'm a podcast person myself.
Yeah.
It works for my brain too to not have to invest like a 14-hour book.
Yeah.
I can pop around a little bit more dependent on what I need at that time for my personal and mental health or for my business.
Like a little fun tip if you are into audio is there's an app called Hoopla. I don't know if you guys have that, but it's free audiobooks. You just need your library card. So I was spending a lot on Audible, but Hoopla is free. So you can get a ton of those books on Hoopla.
Free is always fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the questions that we had in the group. It looks like you nailed all of them. So I wanted to.
If you guys have anything else, I'm happy to, like if I didn't cover anything well enough, or if you have any follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer. Oh, Scribed.
Yeah. I haven't checked that one out, Rebecca. Is that how you say it? Scribed? That makes way more sense.
Oh, I don't know.
That makes way more sense because in my head I always said scribed and that didn't make sense. So yeah, that's another good one. Does anyone else have any questions for Corey about Facebook or just about how she's built her business so far or anything like that?
Corey, you have a lot of discount coaches that purchase like a lot, not just like their monthly Shakeology and buy. Like,
Yeah.
I woke up to like 4 of your discount coaches is purchasing like 2 bags of Shakeology or Shakeology Daily Sunshine 3 boosts,
We love
like
them.
performance pack. You know what I mean? But like, I'm just curious, like, do you like, why do you think that is? Like, maybe Kate has a lot of discount coaches that order a lot too, but generally a lot of discount coaches just get their Shakeology, maybe Energized too, but I feel like 90% of your discount coaches order a ton, and I don't know if you talk to them one-on-one or what do you think that is?
Well, I think our audience is a little bit spendier. Like if you think about it, they came from like being a super boutique fan to then drilling down to being in this group. So like they were spenders to begin with, right? So like not every audience is going to be like that. Some audiences are going to be much more frugal than others. Ours tends to be like a little bit on the spendier side. And then Caroline, what's your wine? Is that a wine bottle?
It's kombucha.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, wow, we're really getting after it. And then I generally just like try to have those natural conversations about the product. If you look in our group, and you guys are all welcome to join, happy to have you. Again, it's super low pitch. Like I'll be like, here's a picture of my Energize. I don't say like, do you want it? Or it costs this much money, or here are all the benefits. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And so I think that just by like talking about it, you know, like I'll show them how I mix my Shakeology and I put my collagen and my greens in there. Well, as soon as I do that, then we start selling collagen and greens. And like just the other day, for example, I use a Soda Stream to make sparkling water. So like instead of buying sparkling water, like I went through and I did like a little video of like me filling up the Soda Stream and like making the sparkling water. So and it's the same thing that goes back to like, you're not always selling the Beachbody product. Like I didn't benefit from selling them a Soda Stream, but I showed them that I'm a well-rounded person who consumes other products outside of that, if that makes sense. So like a Soda Stream, if you're trying to kick soda or you're trying to kick, you know, all the plastic bottles, if you're buying it at the store, that kind of fits in with the lifestyle. So just like walking them through my life and inviting them in is kind of probably the most effective way of selling the products. I will say I did try to do a live video of my kids with Daily Sunshine, and they both like super hated it, and it did not go well. They were like, it tastes gritty. And I was like, oh, sweet Jesus. You're not being very good spokesmodels right now.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I'm getting, I guess this could be for Kate too, I could ask her separately, but I'm getting a lot of people who are only interested in BOD, and I'm trying to like make that transition to like the nutrition piece. Not that, I mean, I'm happy that they're interested in BOD for sure, but that seems to be more of what the audience I'm getting. And I don't know if that was how it was when you started out.
It is. It's 100% where it was for me. When
Okay.
we first started, it was like BOD, 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 BOD. And I was like, holy crap, I'm never going to sell anything else. Like I was like, Caroline, how many people on BOD do I need to get to like have any sort of monthly sustainable something? Because all of my ladies were buying the annual. So I was like, great, I'll see that again in a full 12 months. Like, holy, that's not going to work. And so I started by sending some samples. So I bought like 2 boxes of the vegan barista, and anybody who had bought and was interested, I would send them 1 of each. Caroline's really generous with her samples. She sends like 6. I don't do that. They get 1 of each. You can try it one time. So that's an investment, obviously, but we had really good conversion on that. So we would send them 1 of each, and then I would set a reminder. I use HubSpot. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that tool, but it basically is a customer management tool, and it's free up to like thousands of people. You probably won't hit it. I haven't, but you can put the name in. So I could put in, you know, Kate McGinty. Sent her this sample, and you can set it to remind you to follow up in like 10 days. And then in 10 days, you can say, hey, Kate, did you get the samples? Let me know if you want any recipes, or you could send a recipe with it. Let me know how it goes. And they're either going to say, I hated it, because that's probably 50% were like, it was terrible. And I was like, well, you didn't follow the recipes, because it's really not terrible. But, you know, some people also just don't they don't want to buy it, so they'll tell you it's bad. But the other 50% were like, this was really great, I'm interested in it, how much does it cost? So I have had really good success with samples, and I've done the same thing with Energize. So if they're buying Shakeology, then I'll send them, 3 sticks of Energize in the mail. That's an even lower cost. And a lot of our customers are moms, people on the go, they want that energy boost. And so we've had pretty good conversion with the Energize as well. Maybe more so than Shakeology, actually.
I've done the same thing with Beach Bars. Most of the customers I have who buy Beach Bars weren't ever going to spring for that themselves, because they look at it and go, why am I going to spend this much money on a snack bar? But if you're willing to send them 1 or 2, it's amazing how often people go, oh my God, that's so good.
I do need to work on Beach Bars. We have a couple of customers who buy like a lot of them, like two, like, I don't know how many they're eating, but we need to work on that, because it really is like, once they get in the habit and once it becomes part of their routine, that's when you start to see like that week over week flow. And it's less about the hustle of the new and more about kind of keeping your established going.
And one quick story too about just showing your Energize and having those products and making sure that those products are present and that you're dropping in the benefits of them authentically. I don't use Beachbody Collagen because I'm almost entirely vegan and it's not vegan friendly. So it doesn't fit for me.
Right.
So I haven't talked about it. Well, Nick started incorporating collagen after he broke his wrist, and his nails are like bananas. He has to cut them so often. But he looks at them and he's like, they're strong and they're shiny. So he actually asked me, he's like, can I tell people about this? Because this is collagen and this is bonkers. Well, he went live in the Spark and was like, hey, I just wanted to tell you guys about my experience with this because it's so wild. Within 2 days, I sold like 6 collagen. And that was a really, really good reminder that if I don't talk about a product, I can't expect people to discover it on their own, let alone have the faith that it's actually worth buying. But if you truly love a product and share that authentically, your trusted followers are going to try it. Not all of them, but the only way they're going to know is if you actually share that story and you share the ones that you genuinely do love.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is you don't have to be an expert at all of it. Like a few days ago, actually, we've had a lot of interest in the nutrition plans, and I know literally nothing about them. I don't. They're like, hey, what's this 2B lifestyle? And I'm like, oh no. Like I can tell you about all the consumables, but like I can't help you with that. And so like that's when you can use the people around you. Like look how many people are on the Zoom call. Like there is someone here who knows the answer and will be able to get back to you quickly. And so I think using your resources to present a more informed response, but also I think it's totally okay to be like, I have not tried this yet. Here is this video that explains it. I'd love to hear your feedback. Like I never am like, oh, it's wonderful if I haven't tried it myself. Like I haven't done 2B, but here's this 6-minute Vimeo that's going to describe it perfectly. And then we can go from there.
Does anyone have any other questions about Facebook or just anything in general that we want to pick Corey's brain on while we have her?
Life.
I have a question, actually.
Yes.
So basically, I started with Caroline a long time ago, and I've dabbled in coaching, and then I pull back just, my own reasons. But initially, I joined a group, already existing group, and it's got 4,000 plus members. And at this point, it's been 4 or 5 years. At this point, I'm the one running the group. Would you suggest sticking with that or definitely creating my own free group? I mean, I'm an admin in the group, but technically it's not mine. So at whatever point the person decides to shut the page or whatever, then I'm out these connections I'm making. So I don't know if I could then now let me start again and my own or.
So I think there are a few things there. One is that having your own is always going to be best. I don't think you should abandon what you have because it sounds like, that's a nice volume. But anything that is outside of your control, like ultimately is not yours. And that's like kind of the experience that Facebook taught me years ago when they changed the algorithm and all of a sudden I couldn't reach my followers. I was like, oh, I need a good website because Facebook is in control on Facebook, but I'm in control of the website. So similar here, you know, you want to be in as much control as possible. So I would definitely recommend starting your own group. But are you able to post and kind of move people over there, or do you not think that you're comfortable doing that?
I've always just pretty much, I'm in my own way all the time. So I've dedicated so much time to this particular group that, I mean, there are some people I could bring over, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm already here. They're already expecting a post there. But as of late, there's been some people so the person who started the group lets anybody in. They can, it might not even be fitness related, and he lets them in, and he's also letting men in, and it's so people complain to me, and so now I'm taking control of the group, but like you said, it's not mine. It technically is not mine.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any way to pivot and to capture the engaged people from that group, I think that'd be super beneficial to you. Like maybe your pivot is, this is our women's only community. Like if that's the pivot you want to make and kind of say, this is going to be like a little bit more of a niche audience, like women's fitness, we welcome all types, but this is going to be women's only. And like, that's a nice way to kind of get people to transition over who are already engaged, but not make it like, hey, we're having a mutiny. Because like, you don't want that. It's just drama that you don't need, right? So I think that if you were to position it in that way, it's a positive spin. The engaged women will likely join you. And that's basically the best you can get out of that scenario, right? Like if you end up with 200 engaged fitness women to start a new group, that's fantastic.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I know that that is kind of a sucky situation and you probably feel kind of gross about it, but I think the quicker that you can kind of like get into your own space, the more you can then own it.
Right.
Any other questions? I learned tonight that Corey has taught marketing, right?
Yes. So I started like back when I was like a little baby, I did advertising for Chili's and Bank of America in Boston. And then I worked for Marketing Profs, which is a marketing training company where we trained other marketers. I hosted a marketing podcast. So yeah, I'm like a full marketing nerd.
Can we still find your podcast somewhere?
I hope not. I literally, I was like, my boss I was at a venture capital firm for like a brief stint, and they had more money than like any company should ever have. Like that's the nature of venture capital, right? It's just like just money. And he was like, okay, so I've built you a podcasting studio. It was like over the weekend. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Like it was in like 2009. Like podcasts were not a thing yet. And he was like, so you're going to host a podcast. And I literally was like, how to host a podcast? Because like I didn't know. So yeah, it was probably not great, but I did it. You can learn anything on the internet. That's what I've learned.
So true. Wait, was that Katie, as in Katie Ann, who's the marketing major as well?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm in school right now for marketing, so.
Yay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Feel free to message me anytime. I love marketing.
Probably take you up on that.
So yeah, ladies, I mean, feel free to reach out if you ever need me for anything. If you want to run group posts by me, or I don't know, whatever, you can feel free to join our group, see what goes on. Obviously, what we do is not going to work for everyone. Our audience is different. All of your audiences are going to be different. But I think taking those little learnings and applying them, you just got to try it until you find something that works.
Yeah, Kate wrote in the chat, I love your group and store. Me too.
Yay.
I
Appreciate that.
I had a gift card to use and went on your website. It was like, how am I going to use this gift card? And I was like, oh, crap. It was way too much.
That's the goal.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I ended up buying things and sending it. You actually shipped faster than I think your website promised. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. We have a really good team. We have full female team at Prepo. It's beyond anything we ever imagined. When we first started this 7 years ago, it was like we wanted a few more dollars to spend on clothes. Like it was straight side hustle. We had no idea that we would be where we are today. So it's because of our community that we are. And that's why like community is so important to me. And I think that that is the most valuable thing that we can all get as coaches, but also like being part of the community like we're in tonight. Look, I just can't, nowhere else is there so much support. And like everybody is cheering each other on. Nobody is looking at this saying, you know, oh, she's more successful than me and that's not right or that's not fair. Everybody's happy for each other's successes and willing to learn and to try new things. And I just think that is so valuable and rare right now, right? So anyway, our message at Prepo is community over competition. Like I'll help the boutique down the street. And I think that that's a good mantra for us here too.
There's success to be had for everyone, for sure.
100%.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing everything about what you've been doing on Facebook and sharing your time. I know you're a busy lady, so thank you. I think I successfully recorded this call, other than maybe that weird little hiccup when I lost my audio. So I'll post the recording if anyone wants to listen back. And like Corey said, she's been awesome. I've messaged her and like grilled her over Messenger with some questions before, and she's really helpful. So thank you so much for sharing your time and for everyone for joining in.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thanks.
Night.
See you next Monday.